Hey, what's up everyone? So if I sound a little bit funny, it's because I've had the flu lately, so bear with me for a little bit for this video. So one thing that I used to really love doing years ago was making different crafts out of sticker paper. So I thought it would be fun to start making some paper crafts again. So for today's video, I'm thinking we're going to try making a paper craft T-Rex. Alright, so why don't we get sketching? Let's get our sketchbook out. So let's figure out how we want to make this thing. So I think this is going to be pretty good. So we're going to have a nice big chubby belly on this guy, some cute little stubby legs, nice thick tail on him, and then, you know, the classic adorable tiny little T-Rex legs. And so for today, our tools are going to be super simple. We're going to use a pair of scissors and sticker paper, and that's it. That's all we're using today. Alright, so what do you think? Let's give this a try. I think I'm going to start with the body. I'm going to try and just make a really big kind of circular shape first, and then we can maybe make the head afterwards and the tail, and then do the little pieces. So when I'm making paper crafts like this, I like to make an equator shape and then kind of attach a bunch of pieces along to it. So I'm going to just start that way because this is kind of an oblong shape. It's not really a circle. It's not really an oval either. Same thing for the head. So I'm just going to start cutting different shapes. And this is pretty much what I do with paper craft is I just cut at random kind of how I feel like I might need a few shapes and then peel them off and then just start connecting them and see how it works. All right, so let's get cutting. Right now, I'm going to try making this top half. So it's going to be a little bit oblong shape, and then I'm going to kind of do the bottom half in a totally different, it's kind of going to be eggplant shaped. We'll see how it turns out. Alright, so this is, I think this is going to be the top part of the dinosaur. I'm kind of planning for a bit of a chubbier belly on this side. I'm going to start making the other half here, and we'll kind of see how it turns out. So the next thing I'm going to do is similar to how I started this, another big piece. And then usually how I do these is I do one single piece, and then I just start to connect them all across. So now I'm going to start kind of making like a ribbing effect and just do a bunch of half circles here. Do the same thing here, but kind of in a bigger shape to make a bit of that rounder belly in the front. So here's the thing, I didn't use a bunch of these, but there's a strong chance I'm going to need that sort of shape later or that size. So with sticker paper, when you're cutting something like this, don't throw any of the pieces out. Put them off to the side, and then you'll have a big pile of very specific size cuts that you can use whenever you need to later. You know, none of your cuts have to be very specific. As long as you're kind of eyeballing it and getting pretty close each time, they don't have to be exactly the same size. Alright, so this is going to be the back side, and then we're going to make a much bigger belly for the front side right now. Alright, so this doesn't look like much yet, but this is pretty much the belly and the neck. So we're going to put the legs on the side here, and the tail's going to come out the back, and then we'll kind of just rest the head on top here. I'm going to put a little bit more supports along the back, and then we'll just keep going with the next part. Put this down, and we're going to start on cutting a few long strips to make the tailpiece. So that's going to be our tail right there. I think that'll work pretty well. So I cut this because I want this at a bit of a curved angle, and so to do that, it has to be a bit of an uneven triangle. So I'm actually going to pull it up a little bit like this, and then just put this extra piece of tape in between. So I'm going to do a bunch more ring shapes now, and they're going to get smaller and smaller as I go. There we go. Alright, so we have our main body and we got our tail. Let's try making the head next. Alright, what do you guys think so far? So I just need to do 2 legs and maybe some tiny little stub arms. Maybe I'll do the tiny arms next. These should be fun and kind of ridiculous. Alright, so we'll probably do a bit more detail work on these spots, but you know, I think it's fine for now. It's surprisingly solid. I don't know about you guys, but I love these ridiculous little arms. They're probably a bit longer, actually, than a regular T-Rex arms, but I think they look pretty cool. The last thing I need to do here is just kind of make some legs. They're going to be like really lazy, tiny little legs. So he's just kind of sitting back on his tail. So I'm going to put this aside for a little bit. go. I'll probably add a little bit more in here in different spots, but you know, the whole point of papercraft like this for me is to just make something that looks pretty cool and kind of looks like a bare bones skeleton concept. Okay, so I know I said I was gonna just leave it as is, but you know, we might as well just take the time and fill all of this in. So I'm actually going to take the legs off, fill them in, and then put them back on afterwards. So let's get going. All right, so I'm gonna put those aside for now, and I'm gonna fill in the tail and then the head and the torso. We got the tail all done, nice and filled in. And the one good thing about doing that is it's actually really solid too at this point too, so even if the thing drops, once it really fills in, there's a pretty low chance that it's going to fall apart. The whole point of using the tweezers is that it doesn't really stick that much to the actual sticker side, so you can kind of press it down wherever you need to as you go. I'm going to cut up a bunch of little pieces and we're just going to start filling in the torso. Alright, so the tail's looking pretty good, and I think the torso's looking good, so now we're just gonna do the head and the neck, and then we'll be all done. Oh, and we also have to reconnect the legs. Maybe we'll do that now. Alright, so one thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try and put some more pieces back in here so that I can just kind of slap it on, and then I'll fill in these little gaps. Now let's finish the other side. Alright, so we got our second leg done. So let's see where it's going to make sense to put it on. Now the legs are done, so now we can go back to the neck of the head. I'm just going to fill in the head now and we'll be all done. What do you guys think? Let's do a quick comparison. Look pretty good. Pretty accurate to my loose drawing here. So this is entirely made out of sticker paper. It's our sticker paper T-Rex. So that's it for today's video. So as always, if you like this video, I'd love for you to like and subscribe and check back next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.